We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Hassani.
I'm Danielle.
And we are the Pettifords. And we come to you every single morning for about 30 minutes to give you just to give it to you, right? We're going to give it to you. We're going to give it to you. We're talking about relationship Q&A today. We've been in the flow the last couple of days. You've been putting your questions in and we've been answering your questions. It's been overwhelming. So we said, let's just go with the flow. Let's just keep it going.
Do a relationship Q&A week.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm just saying. So listen, many of you on this show love what you hear, and you know so many other people. You ever go to church and you say, man, such and such needed to be here.
Right.
They needed to be in this house today for this word. Well,
Right.
maybe that's what this is for you, and you're thinking the same thoughts. Well, the way to get him here or to get her here is to share, like, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. Kind of with your community so that we all can get and eat on something good this morning.
Absolutely. Listen, I want to welcome everybody. Good morning, Deltrick, who is saying, good morning, Deltrick Thomas from Baytown, Texas. I'm currently working in Ames, Iowa. Please pray for me. So I don't know if there's something going on in Iowa, but hey, we will definitely pray for you. Good morning, Nicole. Good to see you from Savannah, Georgia. My husband and I watch all the time. Thank you for this ministry. God is using you and we're listening.
Is your first name Arthur?
Author Nicole Green. She's probably an author.
Oh, she's an author.
Yeah.
All right.
Good morning,
author.
Zach from Ohio. Good morning, Miss Millette from Tampa, Florida. Good morning, Delisa from Indianapolis. Good morning, everyone. They're all coming in. Gorgeous Wales. Who's that from? You didn't say where you're from, but good morning. God bless you as well. Ralph Welsh again from Ohio. Kia, good morning, sis. Good to see you. Misty Lewis from Jackson, Florida. And Kendra Hanen from Columbus, Ohio. Just welcoming all of you again. When you're new to the program, just make sure that you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. That way you will not miss a show. We're really happy to jump into question 1. Hassani, let's go.
All right, you guys have been sending in video questions, and we're going to go to the first one, and I think it is from Deltrick. Let's hit it.
I've been separated since December, and yesterday was my birthday. So my birthday wish was,
You want to start?
to have an outing with my wife, and she agreed. Man, I had a great time. But so I get home, kids have a surprise cake for me. My vibrations out the roof. Get back in the room a little later on, get back changed, get comfortable, whatever. And man, I tried to be intimate. Why? I do not know. I have no idea what possessed me to do that, but I did. And now it seems like she made me back to square one. So how and why do we put ourselves in these situations and you feel the move? How did I misread it? I guess that's my question. How did I misread it? Things going good, and maybe just me, my nature's rushing. How do we contain ourselves even when it's looking up on the upside?
Wow. You know what? That question to me, it hits my heart because I think about just times when, me and Hassani have been at odds and we would discuss the different ways that we need to express and feel love and affection. And for me, it was always the mental stimulation first. I needed to be mentally stimulated. I need to feel loved. I need to have my love tank full and, not half full, but full to feel like I want to give my body to you. Whereas men tend to do or have an opposite expression, more so they feel the physical, they're more visual. And so I'm thinking that, having the night go well and seeing the body language of your wife and her expressing the connection vibe, and you just misread it because men tend to lead physically to show the love in a physical way, which is something that I had to learn from you, right? That, not to say that you don't need the emotional, but how you lead with the affection, and that for you feels the same or somehow similar. Yeah. For a man, it's like I need to experience you physically to show my love. It's not that I just want you and want your body, but this is how I show you that I love you. And so Deltrick was feeling love for his wife. wife. And so he moved on the love that he wanted to express. Whereas maybe she just wasn't ready because she wasn't mentally there. Maybe she's still stuck in some hurt and pain and wanted to take it a little bit slower. And there wasn't any communication and you kind of just moved on your emotions.
Absolutely. And being that you two are currently separated, if I heard you correctly, you're not in the typical normal husband and wife relational space where after a birthday, obviously that's the best gift that you can get.
Right.
That's the cherry on top, right? And so that's not the normal situation. You're in a separated space. You had a good time. The kids loved on you. You're in a great mood. You're in the bedroom. And I guess we interpret things because everything communicates. So
right.
if we're separate, but yet we're in the bedroom and we're getting comfortable, well, what I think, conventional wisdom says, oh, okay.
Well, I know what a woman's thinking. A woman is thinking, oh, this is nice. Let's just cuddle and watch TV and spend time and connect and bond. And let's just be close to each other, but not sexually close to each other. Let's get intimate emotionally.
And so for a man is just like, what's the point of that? It's almost like decaf coffee. Like, what's the point? Like, who drinks coffee with to not want to get the caffeine? Like, what's the point, right? So, of course, yes, we use it a lot of times as a means to an end. It's important for you, and then what we get from it is important to us, is mutually beneficial. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this is why communication is so important. This is why it's important to set clear expectations and have a good understanding of what is and what is not. And because you're separated, I don't know if you have clear ground rules or parameters, or if there's a plan in place in terms of restoring the relationship and moving forward, if you're on the same page. There's so many different factors that are involved to determine whether something like this would be appropriate or considered an egregious violation to your partner. And so fine, you've misstepped, right? You've taken a step back. You're not at ground zero. It's not all the way to the beginning and it's worse. No, you can get back up and keep on going. You're course correcting along the way through trial and error. And guess what? This is a blip, but we can use this as leverage to make a quantum leap forward. That's why we need to connect, brother.
Yeah.
We need to connect.
Absolutely.
You know what time it is.
Mm-hmm. You want to go to a question here, or you got another one?
No, go to it.
Okay. So, Delisa says, I've asked my husband about counseling here and there. I don't want to nag, but would it be wrong to tell him that I can't move forward with him if he doesn't do the counseling? I don't want to force him. Now,
Delisa, you put 3 comments in here, and they all say something slightly different. You've asked him to do it, and he hasn't done it, I think, since 11/20/20. Mm-hmm. The point is, sometimes we're waiting for our spouse to do something before we get involved and take the lead on doing something, and I get that. But if he said he's willing, but he's slowing his feet down and he's not willing to take that initial step, take the initial step.
Period.
Because guess what? If you had to initiate it, I know you feel some type of way about it, but if it results in you two getting into a better place, then go ahead and do it. And in terms of, should I make counseling a prerequisite for moving forward? Absolutely, unless you want to sign up for more of the same. And that's the thing. So many people want to keep the marriage, but they're not willing to work on the relationship within the marriage. And so your relationship stays exactly the way it always was. So what would be the motivation in anybody signing up for more of that? And so doing more of the same will get you more of the same.
Absolute. There's another comment here from JG. My husband had a one-night stand out of town for work and blamed the alcohol, but then he was on a dating app a couple of months, as were his co-workers, for fun. Is it his job? Should he quit for me?
So he's blaming it on the alcohol, and then he's associated with people in his job.
Right. I mean, should he quit for me? I mean, there's a lot of things he should be doing for you. I mean, like let's just look at it that way. I don't think quitting the job is going to change the character of what he does and how he is, right? Yes, he should be willing to do specific things to set boundaries up, but I don't think that him leaving the job is going to do a darn thing. Right now, this man is showing that he does not have the right character. And that's where the work needs to get done. That's why you need to come. I know we say it all the time, right? Get yourself some powerful counseling. Yeah. But it's like, I feel like a broken record on these things. Sometimes we kind of sit in a relationship where we know it's broken, we know it's not working, and we just do nothing. Get yourself into some counseling so that you know what you need to do to change things under the roof. And then either he will come along and change, or he'll join you.
I think that's true because you take you everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
So going from one job to the next job won't change what's going on.
No, he's going to just do it on the next
you.
job.
Yeah. Now, there are situations when we're counseling couples where that has been the case and people have left jobs, people have left neighborhoods,
Sure.
they've relocated
When they're
to
in
other
recovery.
places in the recovery process for other reasons. So yeah, these are the things that require more detail, more know-how to get to. Listen, guys, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We have so many questions. We can't wait to get to them. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Got one from JG on social media.
All right, guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We're glad that you're tuning in. Today's relationship Q&A. This is our third straight day answering your questions because obviously there's a lot on your mind and a lot on your heart and you want to get things sorted out. But even when we give you these bullet point, paraphrased answers, sometimes it requires a little bit more. So we would highly recommend reach out to us. Simply go to the website at couplesacademy.org. Set up a free discovery call. Let's figure out how we can help you in your situation.
All right, so we got another comment here. JD says, how should couples handle social media if there are concerns about how they use them? I mean, this is just another space where we need to put solid boundaries, right? I don't have to govern how Hassani handles social media. He doesn't have to govern how I handle social media because it's not an issue, right? But when it becomes an issue, or if there are barriers that you see that are broken and hedges are down, that's something that you really need to talk about. How do you communicate with people on social media? Dating and flirting and all this is huge right now. There's a lot of infidelity that's going on right there in front of you on social media. Emotional affairs are taking place right in front of you. These are character issues in the person, right? So that's one issue. But then there are ways to handle how you talk on social media. I'll never forget years ago when one of my ex-boyfriends reached out to me on Facebook years and years ago, and we were just communicating, shooting the breeze. He knew about Hassani, congratulating me. Hassani had a major problem with that. He is my ex-boyfriend. Why am I spending my energy, giving my words, time, and effort towards an ex-boyfriend? See? So it's those kinds of things that we need to talk about to set up boundaries, because if it's not good for the couple, then it's not good for the individual.
There it is. Another question. Misty, I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing at you right now. How do you find good counseling? Currently with counselor 1 month and only 2 sessions in, we get more from watching TCAS, Couples Academy show. Oh, I didn't even know what the acronym. Listen,
Thanks for the acronym.
I got a call today.
TCAS.
I got a call today right before the show from somebody from Tennessee.
Yeah.
Going through a situation with his wife, and after about 10 minutes of talking, I'm like, well, do you have a question? He said, well, I mean, I'm trying to find a counselor. What do you think I should do? I said, that would be like going into a hospital and asking them for a recommendation on who you should see.
Or going to Burger King and asking, do y'all got burgers?
Joker, you are in a hospital. We have a slew of physicians. Right. You've come to the place asking for a recommendation to go somewhere else. So, Misty, what are you talking about right now? I don't even know you right now. You are like an alien to me right now. You're tuning in and you're getting... Somebody else called it so funny. They said in the last 2 years, we've gone to counseling. For the last 2 years. I said, well, how many sessions in the last 2 years? Oh, about 2. I said, wait a minute, you've gone to 2 sessions in 2 years, once a year. And I said, well, have you watched more than 2 episodes of our show? Yeah. I said, we're your counselors. What are you waiting for? So call Couples Academy. Let's get started. Because if where you're going isn't working, then try something different. Because if you're doing more of the same, you're going to get more of the same. All right.
Oh, Lord. Go to one of these questions.
All right, we got a question from Alicia Mobley. How do I get off the crazy cycle? My husband cheated and we're working on things, but I'm exhausted from the emotional struggles I go through. Yes, and usually in the very beginning of that relationship, during the discovery phase, that's when it typically happens. because there's so many things that are coming at you, so many details that you're finding out about, and there's emotional ups and downs. It feels like a roller coaster, and that's why you got to get grounded, and that's why you got to seek your healing. Before you can even focus on, do I want to stay, do I want to go? Well, if you're vacillating back and forth and you don't know what you want to do, focus on your healing first.
Yes.
Because when you're in an unhealthy space, you're going to make an unhealthy decision.
Right.
When you're in a healthy space, is a lot different. And Danielle, you do the phenomenal job. Why are you laughing? What are you laughing at?
I'm reading questions. I don't even know the question you just read because I'm reading questions.
That's why we tag.
So you got to go to the next one because I don't even know what you said.
Okay,
right
no
now.
problem. But the point is, what I would recommend you do: pray, meditate,
Right.
breathe, journal. Right? There's got to be a process for your self-healing and self-care. Because when you begin to balance out your feelings and your emotions and not have flooding thoughts or emotionalized thoughts, it helps to keep you in a much more calm state to be able to deal with your situation. There are a number of books that you can read. One of the things that Danielle recommends all the time is something called Healing is a Choice. And it talks about how you can begin to heal and to get over the excuses in the midst that you've given yourself that prevents you from doing so.
Yes.
All right, let's
okay.
go to the next one.
right.
Gail Barcelonia says, is ghosting an effective way to get my spouse back from a cheating relationship? And ghosting would be
is that a
basically
millennial
disappearing.
term?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay,
like
okay.
disappearing. It's like, you know what, fine. You in that relationship, deuces, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm going over here. And I mean, so I don't know if you're married. I don't know if you're single. I don't know what the status of your relationship is. But what I will say is there's a phenomenal book by James Dobson entitled Love Must Be Tough. And when somebody's in an affair relationship and they're not willing to get out, they're not willing to do the necessary work, your desire to maintain the relationship and you constantly go after them and please come on now and that's not going to work.
I just don't think gaming is the way to get somebody to turn their lives around and to pay attention to you. If they're already stepping out and doing things unethical like that, and you jump into the game, one game leads to the next game. If that didn't work, then what's the next step? One foot out the door and you cheating or you flirting to get their attention. That's so toxic. That's the behavior that now you're tit for tat. He does this, you do that. Instead, you need to figure out if this relationship is worth fighting for. I think that's the biggest thing. We deal with folks who are married, who are engaged, who are dating, and some of these relationships are so toxic. If you haven't gotten married yet, to me, it's a red flag right there. Like, why step into something where the foundation of the thing pretty much dictates what it's going to be in the end? Instead, look at what you're dealing with right now. Figure out if this is something worth fighting for, and if it is, get into a healthy fight, which means you working on you and strengthening you. Once you're strengthened and once you're grounded, then you start making better decisions.
Yeah, and while he's in this affair relationship, and while you're making the decision to fight in a healthy way, you got to put boundaries around yourself. So there's certain things that are not going to happen while he's not going to get the best of both worlds. He's not going to be out there in the street and then gets the benefit. Oh,
no
absolutely
way.
not.
No way.
And this is something like what's going to happen is you, with a knee-jerk reaction, are going to figure out what you are going to do, what you're not going to do, and sometimes you're working against your own best interest, and it's not a healthy pathway that you're taking. That's why you got to continue to learn and research and figure out a healthy approach to turn the entire situation around. Until he changes, you got to work on you doing the right thing to change the dynamic of your relationship.
With a T, somebody said out there.
Let's go to the next one. Jasmine Ross says, if a person cheated in multiple relationships, should they get individual counseling to address brokenness in addition to working on the relationship? Yes, and absolutely yes. Absolutely. It's not either or, it's both and. 3-lane highway going down 95 South. There's a left lane, a right lane, and a middle lane. The middle lane is you and your spouse in this thing together. You're still married, right? But then the left and right lane is you in your own individual lane. You should be pursuing both couples counseling as well as individual counseling simultaneously. And what I would recommend is that you don't have an individual couples counselor and then you have your own counselor and your partner has their own counselor, because you have all these voices coming in, confusing things, sending you in different directions. It becomes a tug of war. You don't know what to do. You're all over the place. And then you become overwhelmed and you wind up doing nothing. So when two people, a team work with you as a couple, they're working with you as a couple and individually to get you over that hurdle to move you forward into a successful relationship. I hope this is making sense.
You done said a word. I hope y'all took notes on that.
Well, we got a couple more words. We got one more segment. We'll be right back. This is the Couples Academy Show. Sign up today for the Better Marriage Club and receive exclusive access to the private Facebook group to get your questions answered and your problems solved. Access to our marriage library of live seminars. Watch the Couples Academy Daily Show. Call the help hotline for laser coaching. Get our weekly action guides and receive a private one-on-one call with one of our marriage coaches. To join the Better Marriage Club, simply text MARRIAGE to 973-490-4668. Join today. Your marriage deserves it.
Hey everybody, you are watching the Couples Academy Show, and we're doing Relationship Q&A week. And I'm going to jump into this juicy question here by Jaguar. She says, would sex be as important to men if they only reached orgasm a quarter of the time? Hold on. Sila.
No.
Let the music play.
No.
Let the music play.
No. I get your point.
Thank you for saying no.
I get the point.
He does get the point.
I think we all get the point.
We all get the point. No. And it should be stated that a lot of times we don't. It's just a thing. Our bodies are designed different, y'all. This is why there needs to be sex counseling, you know, because people actually don't know what they're doing or dealing with. Sometimes folks have to learn actually where the parts are, so that they understand, hey, the friction isn't doing it for me, okay? It's not just about friction for us.
Yep. That's why we're going to do a masterclass on this. And when we have this, all of you better sign up because we're going to go deep.
I mean, y'all better sign up because I got things to say. And I have done a lot of work on me, which we've talked about. And that's right. We got to do this masterclass.
Yeah, we got to do
We're going to help these ladies. We're going to help these men.
Yep.
We promise.
Get ready. It's coming.
Promise.
Matter of fact, if you want it, I want you in the chat right now to say Sex Masterclass. If that's what you want, we want to hear from you. Let us know. But in the meantime, we'll jump to the next question. All right. Teresa Franklin says, how can I help my husband hurt less and reassure him I love him and that we will get through this? You know, a lot of times when an affair occurs, it is a blow to one's self-esteem, their sense of value, their belief system about themselves, how they view themselves. It can really chop a man or woman down. And so for a long time, you have to then begin to overcompensate by filling a hole that was created in them when you chose to be with someone else. And sometimes it's not a quick fix. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes diligence. It takes commitment. And so you can't be tired. You can't be wanting to throw in the towel, call it quits. How long does it take? How much is it going to be? Like, you've got to be willing to do the work. We were talking about this in our Moving Forward program last night with a couple of our couples. How long before it becomes entitlement? Like, how many times do I have to keep doing and doing and doing and doing and doing? When is doing enough? Well, here's the reality. You are not a human doing. You are a human being. And what you do is an extension of who you choose to be, of who you are. And so if you get in the mode of, well, golly, how long do I have? Man, it's been a long time.
Right.
The reality is it's a new norm. So what didn't work before, now that you're in a restored relationship, you're going to have to do things you've never done. As we say, new levels, new rules. And so now that you've elevated your relationship to the next level, you've made a decision to stay. You can't continue to show up the way that you've always been.
Yeah.
There's got to be new habits and new patterns and new behaviors and new things, a new dynamic in that relationship in order for it to work. And when you do that, things begin to change.
Yeah, and you know what I'm hearing you say too is that, you know, you're still going through things, right? Just because you have a moment, a temporary setback, maybe a trigger, you know, you're upset about something, you don't want your spouse to think that everything is lost, right? But you do actually want to still have a voice and say, hey, can we work on this over here? right? I think there needs to be balance in that. And that is a conversation you'd have with your spouse to just be clear and honest with them. Listen, babe, we have come a long way. I see all the effort that you're putting in. They need to hear that because they're the one that hurt you. They need to hear that they're doing a great job. But guess what? There were issues in the relationship before the affair. Can we deal with some of these issues to make my recovery of the affair much easier?
There it is. Let's go to the next question while you prep for yours. CJ says, how many chances should my husband get after cheating multiple times before and after marriage? We've been together for 10 years. CJ, that is a question that only you can answer. Everyone's tolerance is different, okay? While some have been in an emotional affair that there was no physical contact, that was a breach and a violation, and one's tolerance level was reached a certain point where they were done. We've worked with couples where literally there have been 20 plus partners over the course of their marriage, some short-term, some long-term, some one-night stands, some all types of things, and the spouse continues to stay. And so what works for what one person is willing to do is different than what one other person is willing to do. The fact that you're even asking that question proves that you're obviously not ready. Or maybe you're fed up, but there's something that's keeping you there. And so this is why you can't figure this thing out on your own. Because if you're vacillating, do I stay, do I go? We say that the best decision that you could ever make about staying or going is to really make no decision at all. To allow the journey that we take you through to make the decision for you, because it becomes crystal clear about what the pathway should be, and it exposes your spouse's heart as well as yours in terms of your willingness to do the right thing.
Absolutely. So we got a lot of comments on that masterclass. She ain't lying, not just friction. Sex masterclass, masterclass. There are a lot of people that say they want that sex masterclass, so we're gonna come with it. We got another comment from Clarence Jackson that says, I tell my wife all the time, leaving out information when we are trying to get to the truth don't help build trust. Transparency is a very important part of building trust when it has been broken. Absolutely. I mean, you said it perfectly, but that's a huge thing. After the affair, we need complete and total transparency in everything. Where you are, what's on your telephone. And the thing is that if you really have a heart for recovery, if you really want to move forward, then what is there to hide now? Like, you've exposed it all. Be transparent. Put a tracking device on your car if that's what they need. Give them the telephone. Like, why are we still hiding at this point? You will have that time in your life after you've proven trust where you get your autonomy back, some sense of it. But for a while, you need to open up your book and show your spouse your life.
If there's people who have nothing to hide
nothing.
It's just that simple. But some people have this need, they're bent towards privacy anyway.
And I was like that, right? Because some people are trained that way, that, you don't tell your business. Folks who've been through a lot of stuff, you keep it under the roof. Y'all know I've been through some crazy stuff. And so you don't tell everybody your business. So that is a mindset as well that some people have, that you either talk and tell everybody your business or you keep your business private and nobody has to know. But when you get married, right, you have to expose your life. I remember there were times when I would just go for a drive and wouldn't even tell you where I'm going. And you don't know where I'm at, but I'm stopping at the supermarket, I'm here and there. And it's just like, why don't you tell me where you are? And my thing is like, why do I need to tell you? I'm a grown woman, That thinking has to change, but especially after an affair, when your spouse is working hard. First of all, they've forgiven you and they've decided to stay. But when they're working hard to be able to trust you, when they are overcoming the burden of triggers, emotional triggers happening without their permission, you need to be willing to expose every single detail of your life and do it willingly. They don't want to force it out of your hand. They want you to willingly open your life to them.
And if there's been a major violation and I can't trust you, when you go for that car ride and you just don't tell me where you're going, and then you say, well, I went to the Publix, and well, where else you go? Because it took way too long.
But you didn't tell here and I stopped there.
You didn't tell me about those two other places.
Right.
And it's just like, why would you keep that from me? Something so trivial, something so little. Now it makes me question everything that you do. True. So sometimes we're private and secret to a fault. It's not serving you. Listen, we are one. We are one. And so if we're gonna be one,
I know better. I tell you where I go.
Yeah, no, for real, you do. But what I'm saying is, you're one. So what you hiding stuff for?
Yeah.
First of all, most of your life is on front row. Your spouse, listen, you give your spouse a front row seat to your life anyway. And so when you intentionally try to hide in your secret, and you're like, Joker, I can see you behind the microphone. What are you doing?
Yes.
Like, I can see your stuff.
You know what is interesting is most of the recovery from infidelity and a lot of major things is what you need to unlearn. Not so much what you need to learn, but it's the unlearning part, because most of this is habits destroying us. You have these habits that you've been carrying around forever and you don't want to let go. And if you want to recover, you got to let go.
You have to radically depart from habits and mindsets and behaviors and cycles that do not serve you.
Yeah.
If you want this relationship to work, you got to do something different. Period, point blank. You've been watching the Couples Academy show. Stay tuned tomorrow because we have a whole lot more questions. If we didn't get to yours today, we will get to it tomorrow. Listen, like, share, and subscribe. We love you guys. We'll see you in the AM. Take care.
If you would like to be a guest on our show, or if you're interested in one of our restoration programs, contact us today at couplesacademy.org.